कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन मुनातीर वनचारी तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जयो नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जयो नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Chapter 5, The Activities of Sakshi Gopal, verse number 9. Sakshi Gopalera Katha Shuni Loka Mukhe Sei Katha Kaina Prabhu Shune Maha Sukhe. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. At that time, Nityanand Prabhu had heard the story of Sakshi Gopal from the townspeople. He now recited this again, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the narration with great pleasure. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Sakshi Gopal temple is situated between the Bhubaneswar Khurda Road Junction railway station and the Jagannath Puri station. The deity is not presently situated in Cuttack, but when Nityanand Prabhu travelled there, the deity was present. Cuttack is a town in Orissa situated on the Mahanadi river. When Sakshi Gopal was brought from Vidyanagar in southern India, he stayed for some time at Cuttack. Thereafter he was situated for some time in the Jagannath temple. It seems that in the temple of Jagannath there was some disagreement between Jagannath and Sakshi Gopal, a disagreement called Prem Kala, a quarrel of love. In order to settle this love quarrel, the king of Orissa constructed a village about 11 miles from Jagannath Puri. The village was called Satyavadi, and Gopal was stationed there. Thereafter a new temple was constructed. Now there is a Sakshi Gopal station, and people go to Satyavadi to see the witness Gopal. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 5, verse number 9, translation. At that time, Nityanand Prabhu had heard the story of Sakshi Gopal from the townspeople. He now recited this again, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the narration with great pleasure. Hare Krishna. So after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he came to Jagannath Puri with few of his devotees, including Nityanand Prabhu. So before arriving at Jagannath Puri, 20 kilometers before Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to a temple of Sakshi Gopal, a very beautiful deity of Lord Gopal. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to take darshan of Gopal, and he chanted and danced in the temple. And then Nityanand Prabhu, who had earlier come to the same temple, before meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu had travelled all over India to many pilgrimage places. So he had also come to Sakshi Gopal earlier. So Nityanand Prabhu, who had come to Sakshi Gopal temple earlier, he had heard the katha, the story of Sakshi Gopal. So now when he has come again with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he very enthusiastically narrated the story of Sakshi Gopal, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced great joy, Mahasukhe, great joy, great pleasure in hearing the katha. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes this story which we will discuss today. So long back in Vidyanagar is a city in South India. In Vidyanagar, in a small village, there was one Brahmana, elderly Brahmana, and one young Brahmana. So they both went to Tirtha Yatra, to pilgrimage. They went to Gaya, they went to Kashi, they went to Prayag, they went to Mathura, and they went to Sri Vrindavan Dham. This is very nice practice that every year people go to various pilgrim sites, to Dham. There they take bath in the holy river and take darshan of the various deities in the temple, and most importantly they associate with sadhus and hear about Krishna, and that way all their sinful reactions are eradicated and they develop further attachment to Krishna. Going to Dham like Sri Vrindavan, very rapidly, with very high speed, we advance in spiritual life, we progress in spiritual life. So we should imbibe this habit that, of course, if we can stay in Vrindavan whole life, that's best. But if we can't, then we should repeatedly go. Repeatedly, at least once a year, if not more, we should go to Sri Vrindavan Dham or Mayapur Jagannath Puri Dham and stay there for few days. Take bath in Yamuna, hear from pure devotees, take darshan of the deities, and do Govardhan Parikrama, Vrindavan Parikrama, go to Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, and do some charity to the cows and the Brajavasis and the Brahmanas. So in that way we advance in spiritual life. So these Brahmanas, elder and younger Brahmana, they went to so many pilgrim places, and they went to the 12 forest of Braj. Then they came to Vrindavan town, and there was a very beautiful deity of Lord Gopal, and there was a very big gorgeous temple and nice deity worshipping going on there. This Gopal deity was installed by Vajranabh, the grandson of Krishna. He installed many deities. So one of them was this Gopal deity. And this Gopal deity was very beautiful with lotus petal like eyes and broad chest and thin waist and nice moon-like face and curly hair and reddish lips, giving a sweet smile, playing a flute, and so enchanting, so beautiful. Krishna is amazingly beautiful. So the elder Brahmana and young Brahmana, they were very happy to see Gopal, and they decided that for 2 to 4 days we should stay here and take daily darshan of Gopal. And they stayed there, and they would go to Yamuna to take bath at Keshi Ghat and Kaliya Ghat, and they will do Vrindavan Parikrama. So one day the elderly Brahmana spoke to the younger Brahmana very affectionately and told him that during the whole yatra I didn't feel at all any trouble because you served me so nicely. You washed my clothes, you arranged for prasad, and you massaged me at night, and you carried my belongings, and you served me very nicely. Even my own son would not serve me so nicely, so lovingly that you served me. The young Brahmana is also a pure devotee, and the elder Brahmana is also a pure devotee. And the young Brahmana saw that this devotee, this Vaishnava, is old in body and requires help, and it is good to offer service to elderly Vaishnava, to a senior Vaishnava. Krishna is pleased by that. So during the yatra he helped him, he served him. And now the elderly Brahmana was feeling grateful and thankful. And very affectionately he told the young Brahmana that you have helped me so much, I should give something to you. So I have a young beautiful daughter, I want you to marry her. I will do Kanyadan and you accept her. The young Brahmana said, look, my dear Prabhu, I don't want anything. I did not serve you to get some return, get some profit. I served you because you are a Vaishnava. And when we serve a Vaishnava, then Krishna is pleased. That's most easy way to please Krishna. And to please Krishna and to offer service to Krishna is we have to do it purely. And I don't want anything in return. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamay, mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti ahetukitvai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us that when we serve Krishna, we should not desire any material wealth or eradication of miseries or beautiful woman or good birth or some glorification or disciples or even liberation. We don't want all this. We just want to serve Krishna purely, unconditionally. We don't want anything in return. That is pure devotional service. After killing Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsingadev was very pleased with Prahlad Maharaj. So very affectionately and lovingly, Lord Nrsingadev, after hearing the beautiful prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, he blessed him and told him, please ask some benediction, some vardhan. I want to give you one benediction. Prahlad Maharaj is such a pure devotee. He said, "My dear Lord Narsingadev, I do not want any benediction. I know you are Lakshmi Pati, the husband of Lakshmi, and you can give me riches, you can give me wealth, you can give me kingdom, you can give me beautiful wives, but I don't want all this. I am not doing any business with you that I serve you and you give me salary. That is not bhakti. I am a natural servant of your lordship and I am serving you, so I don't want anything." That is Prahlad Maharaj. He doesn't want anything from Krishna. We should be doing pure devotional service. Nishkam. One is Sakam and another is Nishkam. Sakam means with desire and Nishkam means without desire. Of course, when we are starting to do devotional service, we may not be Nishkam. But eventually our goal is to come to the platform of pure devotional service. Nishkam, anya abhilashita shunyam, no material desires. Unconditionally serving Krishna. I don't want anything. I just want to serve you. But if we have material desires, also we should serve Krishna. He will fulfill our material desires. That's not highest. Asking material desires is not highest, but it's not wrong, because Krishna likes when we approach him. So this young Brahmana is a pure devotee, and he told the elder Brahmana, "I am serving you not because I want something, I am serving you because you are a Vaishnav, and by serving Vaishnav, Krishna is pleased. That's our duty." So the elder Brahmana responded, he said, "I know you are serving me purely, but out of love, I want to give my daughter in charity to you. Anyway, I want to marry my daughter to a good Brahmana devotee, and you are such a good devotee, and I have personally seen you and seen your service attitude and devotional mood. So I want to offer my daughter in charity to you. Please accept her." The young Brahmana said, "My dear Prabhu, look, this is very unusual proposal. You are from a rich family, wealthy family, aristocratic family, well-educated family, and I am from a poor family. I am uneducated. I am not royal aristocratic person. So this marriage is not usual. During those times in India, no rich person from aristocratic and educated family will give her daughter to a poor family. They will not do that. And that's not good also. Marriage should be among equals." So the young Brahmana said, "It will not work." So the elder Brahmana said, No, wealth doesn't matter, education doesn't matter, birth doesn't matter. Your character and your devotional attitude is more important, and I can see it is perfect, and my daughter will be happy with you to get a devotee husband. So you please accept her." Again the young Brahmana said, "Look, today you are saying accept her, but tomorrow when your family comes to know, your relatives comes to know, your wife and children come to know, they may object, and then you will not be able to fulfill your desire. So why make such a proposal? Don't you remember how Rukmini Devi's father Rukmini Devi's father Bhishmak, Raja Bhishmak, he wanted Rukmini Devi to get married to Dwarkadish Krishna. But Bhishmak's elder son Rukmi, he was opposite to this proposal, and the father couldn't do anything. And finally he arranged Rukmini Devi's marriage to Shishupal. But Rukmini Devi was very clever and determined, so she wrote a letter to Krishna to come and kidnap her. And Krishna came and kidnapped Rukmini Devi, and there was a big battle, big war. And finally Krishna was about to kill Shishupal. But Rukmini Devi told Krishna not to kill my brother. So all this thing happened just because the son was not agreeing to the father. The father wanted the daughter to get married to Krishna, but the son was not agreeing. So you also have son and wife and children and relatives. If they don't agree, then unnecessary there will be trouble. So then the elder Brahmana said, look, my dear Prabhu, my daughter is my property and I can choose whom to get her wedded. So you please accept her. I give you my promise that whatever happens, I will not change my word. And I promise you in front of this Gopal. Gopal is witness. Gopal is Sakshi of my promise. And today I make a determined vow that I give my daughter in Kanyadan to you. You accept her as your wife. So the elder Brahmana, he made promise in front of Gopal. He made Gopal as a witness of his promise. In earlier times, if a father promises somebody that I will give my daughter to you, that was finished. They would not change their word. They would keep their word. They would honor their word. A very respectable gentleman, they would do that. Sometimes in childhood only, when the boy and girl are just born, the families will come together and decide that we will marry these two when they grow up, and when they actually grow up, that marriage would be arranged. Bal Vivah they call. So this used to happen earlier. Nothing wrong in it. So the elderly Brahmana in front of Gopal promised the younger Brahmana that Gopal is the witness, he is the Sakshi, and in front of him I am promising you that I will offer my daughter to you. So the young Brahmana said, okay, you are promising in front of Gopal. That means it's a serious transaction and I accept your daughter. And young Brahmana prayed to Gopal that if anything goes wrong, you please keep our promise and you please be witness to this transaction. And then after few days they returned back to Vidyanagar, and again the young Brahmana, he assisted the elder Brahmana, offering him service because he is a Vaishnava. And in this way they returned, and the elderly Brahmana, after few days in his house, he was thinking that I went to Dham Yatra and in front of Gopal I promised to do Kanyadan of my daughter to the young Brahmana in the village. Now I should act upon it. It's not that you emotionally make a promise in the Dham and you come back and you forget. That is disrespectful. Emotionally or sentimentally or out of over enthusiasm, we go to a Dham and in front of the deities we make a vow or a promise and we break the resolution. That's offensive. We should not have such habits. Spiritual life is a serious responsibility. Our relationship with Krishna and the spiritual master is a serious responsibility. We should not play with this relationship that I promise anything in front of deities or spiritual master or sadhus, but I don't have to fulfill. It is not required to fulfill. It is okay. We just please them with our words, but not with our actions. We just say, yes Prabhuji, or yes Guru Maharaj, or we promise to Krishna, but don't do it. That doesn't make sense. When Srila Prabhupada installed Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari Ji deities in Juhu ISKCON, he installed them in a very small hut. And there were so many difficulties that devotees wrote telegrams to Prabhupada that we should change our location. We should remove the deities from here and we should go to some other location because there are problems from the neighbors and there is problem from the owner of the land and there are court cases and people are behind us and there are rats and snakes and cockroaches and mosquitoes and very austere conditions and so many things. But Prabhupada said, no, no, no. He never accepted that proposal. He always wanted this temple to get developed, ISKCON Juhu. And one of the reasons is Prabhupada promised to Radha Rasbihari. He said, my dear Radha Rasbihari, you please stay here and I'll build a palace for you. And Prabhupada wanted to fulfill that promise. He didn't want to change his promise. So when a devotee who is serious takes initiation, then he makes a promise in front of deities, in front of spiritual master, in front of Vaishnavas, and in front of fire, and in front of Srila Prabhupada, that I will chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day on beads and follow 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. And then this devotee should keep this vow whole life. Whole life we should chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on beads and follow 4 regulatory principles. We should not break this vow. That is offense, because we have promised in front of deities and Guru. So the elder Brahmana was thinking, I have already promised in front of Gopal, I should fulfill it. So he called his wife and sons and relatives and children, and in front of everybody he told that in Vrindavan, that young Brahmana, he served me very nicely, and seeing his good service attitude and character, I offered him that he should marry my daughter, and I promised him. All the relatives and wife and children said, no, no, this is not good. Why did you make such proposal? This is a very unusual proposal. If you get your daughter married to that Brahmana, then your name will get spoiled, your reputation will get spoiled, because we are rich people and he is poor. We are aristocratic and educated, and he is uneducated from a lower class, and nobody does that. Nobody gives his daughter to a poor uneducated fellow or a poor uneducated family. This is never heard of. Why are you doing this? So they raised an objection. So the elderly Brahmana said, look, I have already promised him, and I promised him in front of the deity Gopal. Now if I break my promise, then my dharma will go away and I will do offense to the deity. And how can I deny? So the wife and the son and the daughter said that if you want to go ahead, then we will commit suicide, we will take poison. So now the elderly Brahmana was in big dilemma. At one side was his promise to the Brahmana in front of Gopal. He has to fulfill it, but if he fulfills it, his son and wife or daughter are threatening that they will take poison and commit suicide, and his family will die. So he told his son, look, the matter is not so easy. The witness is Gopal himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we deny, then the young Brahmana will call the witness. And when the witness comes and testifies that I am speaking lies, I am not fulfilling my promise, then what will happen? The son told, look, my dear father, you just tell him, you don't speak lies. You just tell him, I don't remember. Rest I will take care. Let him call the witness. Do you think Gopal will come? Gopal will not come. The deity cannot come. Anyone if he comes, we will see. So the son was atheist. He didn't believe in the deity. The deity is not idol, is not a stone statue. The deity is non-different from Krishna. But the son didn't believe. So the elderly Brahmana was very dejected and morose, and he was crying, and he folded his hands and prayed, my dear Gopal, somehow you take care of the situation that my promise should also be not broken and my family member should also not die. It was a big dilemma for him. Next day the young Brahmana came to meet the elder Brahmana, and after offering obeisances, the young Brahmana told the elder Brahmana that in Vrindavan Dham you promised to do Kanyadan of your daughter to me, but now you don't speak about it. What has happened? And before the elderly Brahmana could speak anything, the son came with a stick to beat the young Brahmana, that how dare you talk about marrying my sister? My sister is so beautiful and rich, from rich family and educated girl, and you are from a poor family, uneducated man. It's like a small dwarf trying to catch the moon. Just get out from here or I'll beat you. And the young Brahmana was afraid that he will beat me with a stick. So he ran away. Next day the young Brahmana went to the village panchayat and he collected the elder members and the senior members of the villagers and all other villagers, and he put a complaint. Then they called the elder Brahmana and his family, and the young Brahmana said that this elder Brahmana in the yatra in front of Gopal deity, he promised me to do Kanyadan, to get his daughter married to me, but now he doesn't fulfill his promise. Actually, we should know the young Brahmana was not complaining because he was eager to marry the girl. He was complaining because there was offense going to happen, because the promise is being broken in front of deity, and it is not good to do offend Krishna, because he is a pure devotee of Krishna. So he is concerned that nobody should offend Krishna. So the panchayat and the villagers, they asked the elder Brahmana, why don't you fulfill your promise and do Kanyadan? Why are you behaving like this? Sorry. So the elder Brahmana, he said that, look, I don't remember anything. I don't remember what I told him. So immediately the son of the elder Brahmana, he was a very powerful man in the village. He stood up and he said, I want to say something. And he told that my father, he went to the yatra, and this fellow, he joined him, and my father was carrying lots of riches, lots of money, and this fellow once made him unconscious by giving some drug and stole all his money. And when my father asked him about the money, then this fellow said that some thief must have stolen. And after taking all the riches, he is now making a false scheme that he wants to marry my daughter. This is all his cheating, and my father never gave such promise. So all the villagers started discussing, and the elder members, the senior members and the panchayat said, this is possible because money can spoil any person's character. So the young Brahmana said, look, when this elder Brahmana promised, there was a witness, and Gopal deity was a witness. And in this simple transaction, there is a very big witness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the universe, is the witness here. So I can call the witness, and he will come and give the witness. Immediately the elder Brahmana said that if Gopal gives the witness, I will give the daughter. And the son also said, yes, if Gopal comes and gives the witness, we agree to the proposal. Now the elder Brahmana and the son, they both have opposite views of philosophy. The elder Brahmana is a pure devotee. He accepts the deity non-different from Krishna. And the son is an atheist. He thinks the deity is just a stone. It's not God. But both accept. The two contradictory philosophy, they both accept that if Gopal comes, we will accept. So the elder Brahmana was thinking that Gopal is very merciful. He will definitely come and protect my religious principles. And the son was thinking that stone cannot come and we will be saved. So both accepted. So the young Brahmana said, okay, I will call Gopal. He will come and do witness, but better we write it on paper, so that afterwards there is no dilemma and confusion. So they wrote it on paper. Then the young Brahmana said, I know this elder Brahmana is a pure Brahmana, is a pure Vaishnav. And this elder Brahmana wants to fulfill his promise. But his wife and son are threatening him that they will eat poison and commit suicide. That's why he is not fulfilling his promise. his son is atheist. So the young Brahmana knew the heart of elder Brahmana. So then the young Brahmana, he went to Vrindavan and he went in front of Gopal, offered his obeisances, folded his hands, and he said, "My dear Gopal, this is to remind you that I came with the elder Brahmana here, and keeping you as a witness, the elder Brahmana promised that he will do Kanyadan, he will give his daughter to me as a wife. I am not eager to marry that girl, but he has kept you as a witness and promised in front of you, and it is offense not to fulfill that promise. But now they are saying that I am speaking lies, and the elder Brahmana is not ready to fulfill his promise because he is afraid from his son and wife. So, my dear Lord, I have come to request you, you please come with me and bear the witness so that this marriage can happen." He is a pure devotee, speaking to the Gopal deity. Out of his pure devotion, the Gopal deity spoke to him. He said, "My dear young Brahmana, look, you go back. You call all the villagers and the concerned parties, and there you chant my holy name, and remember me, I will appear and everything will be fine." The young Brahmana said, "No, my dear Lord, if you appear there suddenly in four-handed Vishnu form, they will not accept it. They will think some magic has been done. You come now in this form as Gopal, as this deity form, you come with me. Then only they will accept the witness." So Gopal told him, "Hey Brahmana, have you ever heard that a deity can walk?" So the young Brahmana said, "My dear Lord, have you ever heard the deity can talk? If you can talk, then you can walk." So devotees are more clever than Krishna. And the Gopal was just testing the young Brahmana. And the young Brahmana had so much faith on Gopal. He told, "My dear Lord, you are not stone or statue. You are the son of Nanda Maharaj. You are the same Brajanandra Krishna, Brajendra Krishna, Brajanandan Krishna. You are the son of Nanda Maharaj, the prince of Vrindavan, the darling of Yashoda Maiya. So you please come with me and testify." So seeing the faith of his devotee, Krishna got defeated. So Gopal said, "Look, my dear Brahmana, I will come with you. I will walk behind you, but at no time you should see behind. At no time you should see. If you turn and see me walking, I will be stationary at that point, then I will not walk." So the Brahmana said, "How will I know you are walking behind me?" He said, "When I walk, there will be sound of my ankle bells. So with that sound you will understand that I am walking. Every day you offer 1 kilo nice fine rice to me." And the Brahmana was very happy. Next day morning he took permission and obeisances to Gopal, and he started walking towards Vidyanagar from Vrindavan, which is in North India, to Vidyanagar, which is in South India, thousands of kilometers of walking. And he started walking, and he was hearing ting, ting, ankle bells of Krishna, because Gopal was also walking with him. And every day in the evening he will collect some rice, and he will cook and boil and put some ghee and offer it to Gopal, and Gopal will eat that rice. And in this way, in few days, 100 days they took to walk. 100 days Gopal was walking, and after 100 days, around more than 3 months, he reached his village. So when he reached the outskirts of his village, he was very happy, and he thought this is proper place for the Lord to be, and all the villagers to come and take darshan and hear his testimony. So he stopped and turned back, and he saw beautiful Gopal smiling there. The same deity, it will take so many people to carry that deity. Same deity was there. And with tears in his eyes, he offered obeisances, and the smiling Gopal told him, "My dear Brahmana, now I will be here stationary. You just go and call the villagers." So he went to the village and called everybody, including the elderly Brahmana, and they all came, and Gopal testified that yes, the elderly Brahmana had promised to give his daughter, and the marriage happened. And the elderly Brahmanas was saved, and everybody became a devotee, including the atheist son and wife. And after the marriage, both the Brahmanas, they offered obeisances to Gopal. And Gopal said, "You both are my eternal servants, Nitya Siddha. And I am very pleased with you because you both are honest, because you are truthful." Krishna is very pleased when a devotee has good qualities of honesty, humility, tolerance, truthfulness, etc. It's not that I am a devotee so I can do anything. No, we should be very, very careful to maintain good Vaishnava etiquette and proper character. We should not speak lies just because of some profit or saving our reputation or protecting our attachments. We should not speak lies. Krishna is not pleased. So Gopal was very pleased that these both Brahmanas are truthful. And the elderly Brahmana was crying. He said, "My dear Lord, you came just to protect my religious principles. I was in such a big dilemma and you witnessed and protected me, and the young Brahmana was protected." So Gopal said, "You asked me some benediction. I am very pleased with you." So both the Brahmanas said, "Please don't go back to Vrindavan. You stay here and let people come and offer their prayers to you and worship you, and you give them benedictions and blessings." And Gopal agreed to stay there, like Radha Rasbihari has agreed to stay in ISKCON Jew, and lakhs and thousands of devotees come and they pray and offer obeisances and he blesses them. So gradually the story reached to the king of Vidyanagar, and he came and he saw beautiful Gopal and offered his prayers, and he established a very nice temple there, and Sakshi Gopal was worshipped there. So later on, the king of Orissa, Purushottam Dev, who is a pure devotee of Jagannath, he attacked Vidyanagar and he won. So because he won the city was his property. So he took the king's Manikya Singhasan, the throne, which was studded with gems and pearls and diamonds, and he gave that throne to Lord Jagannath. And then he saw the beautiful Sakshi Gopal temple and the beautiful deity of Gopal. And he already such a great devotee of Jagannath, so he went and paid obeisances to Gopal and with folded hands requested, "My dear Gopal, you please come to Orissa." And Gopal obliged because he is a pure devotee. So he took Sakshi Gopal in Cuttack and he established Gopal in Cuttack. So once the king came with his queen to see Gopal in Cuttack, and the queen was very happy to see beautiful Gopal, and they offered nice clothes and garlands and ornaments and nice thali for bhoga, for prasadam, and spoons and glasses and bowls and arti plate and everything they offered very nicely. And they offered nice ornaments, gold and nice crown and necklace and earrings and bangles and armlets and payal and ankle bells and pearls and diamonds. And the queen in her personal treasury had a very nice big pearl, very costly pearl. And she thought, if Gopal had a nice hole in the nose, I would offer this pearl, but Gopal didn't have a nose. So then they went back to Puri. At night, Gopal came in the dream of the queen. And he told, "My dear queen, when I was a small boy, Yashoda Maiya made a small hole in my nose to put a pearl, nose ring. But after that nobody put, so that hole is closed but is still there. You can put that pearl which you want there." And the queen told the king, and next day morning they again came, and when they carefully saw, Gopal had a small hole in the nose. And the queen was so joyful, she took a beautiful expensive pearl and put it on the nose of Gopal, and they did a big festival. After many years, the king decided to shift Gopal from the temple in Cuttack to Jagannath Puri. And he placed Gopal right in the same altar where Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra was there. So Gopal was also worshipped there. So after a few days, Jagannath came in the dream of the king. And he said, "My dear king, I am very hungry." King was surprised. Jagannath is hungry. What is happening? King knew the pujaris are serving nicely and nice bhogas are being offered and everything is being cooked in the kitchen. So why Jagannath is hungry? He said, "Since this Gopal has come, I am very hungry. Whenever the pujaris bring the offering, before I could even take the offering, this Gopal runs so fast and eats all the sweets and rice, and only some little sukha dry fruits and some sukha sabji is there, and I can't manage like that." This is called prem kala, quarrel of love. The Gopal deity was eating and Jagannath was not getting sufficient. So then the king decided to make a new temple for Gopal 20 kilometers away from Jagannath Puri, and presently Gopal is there in Satyavadi, and there is a Sakshi Gopal railway station also, and one can go take darshan of that Sakshi Gopal. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this story, he was so happy, he stayed there whole night, and next day after Mangal Aarti he left for Jagannath Puri. So we learn that deity is not different from Krishna. One should not think this deity is a marble statue or metal or plastic or fiber, and Krishna is different, Sachidanand. The deity is not different from Krishna, and a pure devotee receives reciprocation from the deity. So we should worship the Lord in the temple and in our house nicely. And we should know that He is reciprocating with us, He is accepting our offerings and He is blessing us, and in that way we advance in spiritual life. And we should also learn that the deity, the Lord, is very merciful to His devotees. It seems the young Brahmana, elderly Brahmana, and the marriage is just an ordinary dealing, material dealing. But because devotees are involved and they have promised the Lord personally, mercifully takes care of His devotees. So He is the best master. There is nobody else whom we should depend on. He is the most merciful master. And we are His eternal part and parcel. And He is our eternal supreme master. But unfortunately we have forgotten Him. And here we are searching for a new master. And every day boys and girls with their degrees going to different offices searching for a master. Please engage me in your nokri, in your job. Already one master is there, the supreme master. We should serve him. And even if we are doing job for our bodily requirement, we should use the money in the service of Krishna, in the service of cows, in the service of sadhus, and in that way our life is purified, our income is purified. So He is our real master, and we should serve Him nicely for our own spiritual progress. The ultimate goal of life is to engage in pure devotional service of Krishna. This human form of life is a great opportunity, and we should not miss this. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you may write in the comment box. Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Shri Sakshi Gopal ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So since there are no questions, we will end the live session. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.